edition of Boundaries and Brotherhood, and we're gonna have a special 2026 edition of what Miss Carrie Puller been missing her for the past couple of weeks. But today, the topic is you're not single, right? You're not single. It's your fear of being alone. And while we get this all technically set up because it's streaming to YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook right now. If you want to say something, leave a comment. We'll get the comments right here in the section, and you can have your comments answered live on screen out here. I'm your host, Gordon Watt. Carrie, get us all set up while I get us all technically set up. You know the routine.
Absolutely. I'm Carrie Polero. I'm a relationship and identity coach. I help high achieving women become the prize in love and in life.
Nice. Now, today's topic, guys, it's something that's really deep to what Carrie's been because she's an identity coach and she works on a lot of different things with a lot of different people. Explain to us this post that you have on what it is that's really happening in your brain, being loyal to the past and loyal to old evidence.
Yeah, absolutely. So, because so many people think that or especially women, like, oh my God, I'm waiting for love to find, like, I'm waiting for love to find me. And that's absolutely not true. Like, I'm single. They accept this identity of being single, but what they're not recognizing is there's like a program running behind the background. And it's
Mm,
the thought process of the past. Like
interesting.
my brain is going to be loyal to my past, not committed to what I want to create in my future. And so my if you think about it logically, like my brain isn't its job is not about creating happiness or intimacy. It's about being predictable. And I want certainty. So if my past includes
Ooh.
abandonment, inconsistency, um, choosing an emotionally unavailable partner, then my brain will dismiss available people. Like they'll label them, they must be boring, something's off. I'll chase intensity, I'll chase chemistry, like things that feel familiar. I'll find reasons why
Okay.
healthy love won't work. So and the thoughts will reinforce that. So my brain may be thinking men will always like I have subconscious beliefs in the background. I'll probably end up alone. Men always leave. It never works out for me, right? That becomes the primary relationship. That it's the fear. It's me being in relationship with the fear rather than being in relationship of what I want to create.
Now, if you go deeply into everything else that's going on with just that, right? Does it affect how you approach dating, how you approach yourself, how you figure out love, and what are you willing to give up in your relationships whether you don't lose yourself?
Yeah. And I think that's it does. And I think what ends up happening is people are waiting. Like I'm waiting for somebody else to bring me this aliveness, the confidence, the softness, um, permission to receive,
Permission. Ooh.
permission to rest, permission to feel beautiful. And then
Okay.
what I'm energetically saying is I'm not fully here yet.
Okay.
And a partner is going to meet what you're expressing, right? Like um
You would like to think that way, but what if
well,
it
like
doesn't?
attracts like, right? So if
Right.
I'm not going to be chosen while I'm withholding or I'm like braced for the worst case scenario, right? I mean, I might
Okay.
be picked by by unavailable people, but that's because I'm unavailable at the time.
I was just about to say that
Yeah.
because if you're unavailable also, now working with you, what are some of the symptoms that women might have, relationship men might have, that you deter them, or how do you dig deep into that so that they can be happy with themselves or the situation that they currently are in?
Well, I think it's recognizing we recognize that you are attached to the fear. That fear masquerades itself as discernment,
Okay.
standards, being realistic. And so a lot of women want to call it high standards, being cautious. I'm not settling, but that's all a bunch of bullshit because underneath all of that is her inability. She's emotionally unavailable. She's withholding her emotions, and at the same time, she's bracing for a like disappointment,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
already planning the exit strategy before the relationship even begins. You know what I mean? Like that's self-abandonment.
So that is deep. Self-abandonment. I mean, because self-abandonment can come in so many different forms and it will come out in so many different ways. It could be like, even if I'm not available because of this certain situation I'm in, I might be trying to rebuild my life. I'm trying to find myself. I'm trying to do something that, what does it mean when you start manufacturing proof, and why you think love might be unsafe for the situation? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I was on mute for a moment.
Oh, you're talking.
Okay, cool. What does it mean when we manufacture proof that love is unsafe? Yeah, because your brain is going to scan, it's going to filter. Your
Okay.
nervous system has already decided that love is dangerous because your brain is loyal to the past, right? So
Yeah,
your
yeah.
brain is going to control your body. Your nervous system has decided love is dangerous. Your mind's job, it becomes backing up that decision. So my brain is like, of course love is undangerous. Let me tell you all the reasons why. So instead of being open to and being present to what's really happening in front of you, your brain starts acting like a fucking prosecutor. And not to like find out the truth of what's going on. It wants to win the fucking case. I just want to be right.
Right.
That you fucking suck and you're gonna leave. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right. But then, look, watch this. We're gonna show this. Look, she dropping them nuggets. That's so cool, right?
I'm like, there's so much going on in this new
Right.
platform. This is
But
awesome.
at the same time, right? When you start looking at manufacturing proof and try to do things for the relationship of finding yourself, right? How does it help, or what do you believe men want versus what women want?
I
Does it
think we
differ?
I think we all want the same thing.
Okay, okay.
I think we just I think we all want the same thing. We all want to feel trusted and we don't want to be managed or monitored, um, or judged or morally evaluated. Do you know what I
More
mean? Like, I don't want you to judge me. Like, F you. Don't tell me what to do. Don't try to manage me. Don't try
morally
to monitor
evaluated. That's
me.
a good one.
Like,
Yeah.
we don't want to feel like we're constantly being assessed or that we're constantly being corrected. And I know we talk a lot about this with men too. Like men don't want to be tested or corrected or coached and but women don't want that shit either.
Okay.
And I think that
Unless they want it though.
if it's a difference to come in and make a request of, hey, your I really value your thoughts or your perspective.
Okay.
And I think that when we come from that energy, it's completely different than your partner, or the person you're dating just volunteering, um, like correcting you or coaching you. I just had a conversation yesterday with a client who she ended her relationship. She was in relationship with a man who he was really into personal development, his own personal development. She was into hers, and she
Okay.
was reviewing like her year end review of like all the things that she was going to change in her business. And he owns multiple businesses. He's a very successful man,
Okay.
um, and the way that he responded to the conversation was like he was responding to a daughter. Like, great.
That
Do you know what I
condescending.
mean?
I get it. I'm guilty of it sometimes. Oh, if Andrea's here, she would say like all the time.
And she was like, I didn't feel in that moment, I felt like I was being like not mothered, but kind of in a way. Yeah. Just she was like, I didn't feel like I was speaking to my partner. I felt like I was speaking to my parent.
Speak on that, please.
And
Talk
she
about
was like, and immediately the polarity went away. Like she was like, I was like, I need someone that keeps me like excited, that doesn't like, I don't want to be with a man who looks at me like uh and I know the less than is the story, right? Like she created a story that she was less than. But at the same time, if you have a man that's critiquing you, um, it can feel like he thinks he's better than you. I think, and that was where she was going, was I felt like
Okay.
he thought he was better than me. And I felt like I was his daughter. And she was like, and that just takes like all the polarity and the sexual attraction away.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, I can totally get that. I can
yeah,
totally
yeah, yeah,
understand that.
yeah. But then that's kind of cool. In fact, Andrea, where's Andrea? Come over here, Andrea. We're gonna get Andrea.
Yes.
It's 2026. This is gonna be live. This is something new.
This is fun.
Did you listen to what Carrie just said? Okay, she said, there was some. In fact, give a come. This is live, so it's like when a woman broke up a relationship with a man because she thought, because he was a business person, he was doing that, and he talked to her like it was his daughter. Now, I told Carrie, I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of like talking condescendingly, both vice versa, because of this is a thing. But because they was both into self-development, I want you to come here. Oh, she's not ready. She goes, what do you think about that and how I do it? This is 2020. This is raw, unfiltered. This is live on YouTube stream and TikTok. Talk. Yes.
Like I want to punch you in the face.
You heard that, Carrie?
No, I didn't hear that.
She said, I want to punch him in the face. And that's natural. Right?
I mean, when a man shifts that energy, it sounds like he's correcting her instead of collaborating. And it's very patronizing. It's a patronizing tone. Like, let me teach you some lessons, or instead of like really listening to what she has to say.
I mean, okay, right?
It's kind of like a hierarchy.
Ooh,
Instead of
resentment.
leadership, he's creating a hierarchy. I mean, and not intentionally. I'm not saying he's doing it intentionally.
But and then you just start.
Can you hear her?
Like,
Oh,
how do I?
oh, yeah.
Resentment builds, and then you start to not want to be around them, not want to talk to them. When they start talking to you in that tone, you shut down, because it's like, am I going to fight, or am I just going to listen and then go about my day? And you really just don't want to be around that person anymore, because you're over it. They start talking down to you, start talking crap, or they know better, or whatever the situation is, and you're just like, fine, whatever, like, I don't care anymore. You start to just give up.
Mm.
Right. So, see, you know what you got to do, right? Go on Facebook on our live and type in the comments, and she will answer. Because we're streaming live right now. This would be like a live show, right? But what do you think about that, Carrie? Because I'm guilty of it too. And I would say most men are, dude. How do women deal with that from your standpoint?
Well, how it's like, it's exactly what she said, that like the shutting down, because it kills the intimacy every time, right? I'm no longer feeling desired or chosen, or even like I don't feel the aliveness in my body, because I am interpreting it as though I'm being spoken to like a child. So it's like polarity is dead on arrival, right? Like, and I, as a woman, I cannot respect a man who is diminishing me or my agency, my ability to lead myself. And not that he's doing it intentionally. And I think there's a lot more there that women get to understand about men, because this is a dynamic that has nothing to do with her at all. And so that was one of the things that I spoke to my client about yesterday. I was like, you understand that this has nothing to do with you. And she said, I get that, but I know that I don't want to be in relationship with someone like that.
Okay.
I'm not willing to be in relationship with someone like that. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I mean, that's a choice. And it's easier for her because she's not married, right? So she's not married to this person.
Yeah.
So we're just dating. It's not a big deal, However, if I'm married, or if I'm in this really committed relationship, like I get to look at like, how did this dynamic form? This is
interesting.
This comes back to the caregiver. And I know people are like, oh my
Mhm.
God, it always comes back to the relationship with my caregiver, whether that be your mom, your dad, whoever raised you. But it's the fact that um, if he is speaking to you that way, he learned to manage his emotions instead of meet them, right? He might think some emotions are messy and icky and oh my God, I don't want to deal with that. And maybe like,
That's a stigma, though, right? I
but
mean,
yeah,
okay, but look at this. Okay, how's this? We got here. So this is for my wife, guys. If you're watching this, so how do we get the men to listen to us without repeating ourselves over and over and over before we just shut down and it's an empty relationship? How do
woo.
you answer that one, Miss Carrie? I'm getting advice. It's just 2026, and this is how much trust I have in Carrie, right? And this is how much trust I have in my wife and myself to have the emotional intelligence to deal with this. Because a lot of the times, guys, even for us as men, it's not easy, right? We like to be right. We like to be about, but how do you have? How do I put my wife at the top of the realm with my kids while having all the pressure? Now, if I bring this question up back here again like this, right? This is our therapy. How would you answer that question, Carrie?
I would make sure that I'm in before even having the conversation. I think there's a lot to check in with myself.
Okay.
Because if I come in anything other than neutral, then I'm gonna create a different environment, right? So I know for me, when I want to have a conversation, I might get a little anxious. I might think it's fucking urgent.
Okay.
And so I know for me, I get to check in with myself and stop speaking from the urgency, but I get to be clear and grounded and speak from certainty. And that means I'm not going to repeat myself. Because when I repeat myself, then that puts across this like convincing energy. Like I'm afraid the message didn't land. Like I don't have faith in my ability to communicate. I over explain. And it's almost like I'm trying to win you over to my side. When really that's not
not
what
gonna,
I want to communicate at all.
that it won't work that way.
It won't work that way because men don't respond to
Right.
urgency. Like they think that's chaos, right? They respond to clarity and calmness. And if I'm certain and I'm not chasing like I don't want to chase understanding. I don't need you to understand. I can just let silence do the work. I can express myself and I can just allow it like to land.
Explain that to me as a guy. That's not, how did we go from like a, because I don't want to be single. I don't want to be alone. But right at the same time, you mean my wife? I mean, hopefully my wife's not going to go nowhere, right? Because if not, she's gonna be trapped somewhere, right? Oh, she said I gotta be act right. But from a woman's point of view, how do we find common ground? Right? Because that's a viable question, right? To find viable ground between not losing ourselves in each other's problems, emotions, family dynamics, dealing with mother-in-laws, all this other crap that's going on, right? Business, work, pressures of living. What's the best course of action so that you don't have that fear of being alone?
How do we find common ground? I think it's just being authentic.
Okay.
It's not diminishing what I want to say to keep the peace. Not downplaying what I want, like speaking, this is what I want. But what I find a lot in myself is that I might soften my delivery to avoid the conflict.
Okay, that's really good advice, actually, right? Because I mean that's something that I have to work on also, and I'll pride myself in that, right? Because even working on delivery, in fact, we'll just take it from like I just blew up the other day about something like that, about a delivery, how she was delivering the message to me because I mean she's working, she has the pressure, she's got everything going on. I could have taken it wrong. I got pressure. I have no outlet. I have everything. You mean with the kids and everything else, and it's sustainable, and it's it's something that I have to work on, even as a guy. But I'm not saying most guys don't go through this. Most of the time we do, because like that's why I do the thing with Doc, where it's like handling emotions and switching roles and everything else also affects everything, right? Now, having that common ground, even like with your situation going on right now, finding that common ground and finding it all out differently can make it much better for both parties, right? Especially when you don't want to, I don't want to hold resentment, I don't want to hold no grudges, I don't want to hold no certain things. So I have to rephrase everything in my head, in my mind, and reframe it so that I don't do it, because I've done that before in my life. I mean, now as far as from a coaching standpoint, from an identity coach, do people lose their identity because of they lose themselves in the argument, or from the past histories that they got going on?
Well, what I find is if you're not clear on your non-negotiables, on who you are being in that moment, like the identity of who you are in that moment, you might get lost in all of the other nonsense, right? You get to be clear on what you're available for, which means you have to be willing to like talk yourself into the difficult conversation you're going to have, right? You're not willing to talk yourself out of it because your brain might say, hey, let's escape, or let's bend a little bit, right? Like we don't want to bend. Common ground is going to happen around core values. And it's not at each other's expense.
Yep. It's going to come around core values of what you believe in, how to fix it. Like most of the time, it's easy to run away, turn around, throw it in the towels, this and that, and find excuses for everything else. But if you want to work on something, and like you have in your post right here, guys, if you're not following Miss Carrie Puller on all social media, please do. She has some deep conversations that could change a life and bring that aliveness inside yourself that might not be something you're used to, right? How do you protect yourself but not seem, I would say, protect yourself but not be so protective of yourself? You know, you kind of get what I'm trying to say, Carrie. How do you protect yourself but be able to open and not be disappointed?
Wow, that's like a loaded question.
I mean, that's how much stuff is going in my head right now, right? Because like you still want to have a backbone, right? Because you still want to be the leader, you mean, and all that other stuff. But then you don't want to be looking weak as a man, right? In that scenario. What would be your suggestions?
I think so. I don't like the word protection is I think the word you're looking for is anchored.
Okay, anchor. Okay.
Right? So it's like I don't want to protect myself, because protection is kind of like I'm kind of like armoring up. I want to be anchored.
Yeah.
I want to be anchored in the conversation.
Okay.
And so I want to be connected to myself and not abandon myself, right?
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can still express myself. I can know that the other person doesn't have to agree with me. I think that's that's a lot of the misunderstanding is it's like when I go in to have this difficult conversation, the end result must be, I'm attached to an end result of they must agree with me. And no, that's not the case. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
We can find a common ground. We can, and I think also, like common ground should feel like expansion. And what I mean by that is if I feel not heard, smaller, less than, after my meeting in the middle conversation, then that means I didn't find common ground. And so from responsibility, I love territory, right? So from responsibility, where do I get to go? I clearly did not communicate fully what I was trying to communicate. I want to communicate fully and authentically and not be attached to the end result. It's not about so I get to stay, right? Like I'm going to be uncomfortable. It's not about me like giving in or like watering myself down. Like I have to learn to stay. I get to learn to stay through this stuff, right?
So, what do you give advice for both men and women dealing with that type of situation, right? Because say I'm anchoring, I'm
Okay.
putting up my walls, trying to find common ground, and there's no common ground set in place. What's the
Okay.
suggestion?
Well, what are you trying to create? I mean, I think that's the question. If there's no common ground set in place, like I get to be clear before. That sounds to me, what you just said to me is, I want to have a conversation. There's no common ground right now, but I want to create the common ground. So, like,
Okay,
like I get to be clear on what it is that I want to create
okay,
during that conversation, and that does not mean I that I am manipulating or persuading them or have an expectation of
big,
them, of their behavior.
big word, right? The expectation. That's
Yeah.
the big word. The expectations of everything that's going forward. Because say I'm expecting a certain answer, or Andrew's expecting a certain answer, and it's not the right answer.
But who says it's not right? Maybe it's right
But
for you and not for her. Do you
that's
know what
what
I
I
mean?
mean. Yeah, exactly. Because it can go from 0 to 180 miles per hour fast, because those emotional charges going on,
Yeah.
especially if it's holding on to certain things. Now, even with that being said, explain, okay, if you're scanning and you're filtering and you're doing all this stuff and you feel that love is unsafe or the communication is unsafe, what steps do you take to provide the safety of that?
Well, I get to be very grounded in what I'm wanting. Um, and I get to be very aware because the self-awareness is just the very beginning, right? Like the
Yes.
self-awareness is understanding that my brain is going to be loyal to the past. Like we've like gone over that. Um, and if I understand that that's my brain, that's my ego, I can look at that from a different perspective of, oh, I don't even know what that was that just popped up on your screen.
No, that's me.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
controlling that.
I
Take
can
your
look at it.
guys, take the free assessment to come get some help from me or Carrie, straight or Doc. See, we're doing assessments now. We're doing pop-ups. We're doing. Sorry for interrupting, though.
No, I think that, you get to choose yourself. It always comes back to yourself. And I get to uncover like these blocks that I have. Like, I get to be honest with myself of like, what are the real beliefs here around love? Like I do have a client that, she has this underlying belief that men will always leave, men will always cheat. And now that she's gotten older, um, and she's still single, like a man will just be in her way. But now that's like a belief that's kind of like been developed over time,
I was
right?
just about to say.
So that's been developed over time, but she uses the old beliefs, right? The past of a marriage that he cheated on her, and then that he left her for whatever reason to,
Okay.
and then she began to be involved in other activities and hobbies and work or whatever it might be. And now she's consumed her day and her time with so many things. The idea of dating is, oh my God, he'll be in my way. But she
She
sets her
developed that
life
already
up that way
from the
to
past.
to reinforce that new belief that a man
Yes.
will be in her way. And she did start dating. And she found all these things. It was fascinating to talk to her because in the beginning, it was fun to get to know somebody. And then it was
Right, the
all of these,
backstory, everything else, and what else
yeah,
got going on. Because that's what I like
absolutely.
to know. I like to know people's stories.
Yeah. And then when the like honeymoon phase wears off, right? And you're like sitting there, like really looking at this person, she started looking at it from a different perspective. She was just kind of like, he doesn't take care of himself, like his health. I don't like, I mean, and it can be ridiculous things like, I don't like the way he cuts his fingernails. Do you know what I mean? Like she'll start
Now
to
you start
focus.
nitpicking.
Yeah, well, like
Just
nitpicking on
to
things
sabotage
just to
everything.
prove yourself right, because like that's the bottom line. Is like we all want to feel like we know what the fuck is going on, like we can handle our lives, right?
You like to think that, or you
We
want
would
to feel
like to
that
think
way,
that, right?
right?
Nobody wants to feel inadequate in any way.
Correct.
And so the only way that I can prove to myself that I'm not inadequate is if I'm fucking right about all my beliefs. And so I
Yeah, because
set my life up that
it's
way.
validation
Of
of what your
course.
beliefs is true. Now, I've created a program that challenges those things through. In fact, I might have it right up here. It's interesting. It's interesting you say that because that this right here. See that? Can you see that? Let me see that. I'm going to show you. This is what we learned. I created this. I created it for the nonprofit. I created it for this. So this right here, it has an event of what you believe, the emotional outcome, and the behaviors, right? So when you put everything, when you put everything about it from my book, now if you want to change the connected perception, the attitude, the block that you're going to use, the desired outcome you want, and the behavior change your behaviors, this is how I'm creating that app that I got going on right here. But at the same time, when you reframe that old beliefs, because it took me a hard time to believe, like, why was I always messed up? Why was I always going in and out of jail? Why was I always I could go out of jail like 2 days later, I'd be right back in that place. You know what I mean? This is my cycle. So, but it all came down to old beliefs, old traumas, and everything. I didn't get help because I didn't have the understanding of it. And it also can do that for the relationships, also, right? Because a lot of the times you don't know what you don't know, but you want to change. You just don't know how to change.
Oh my God, yes. And I think one of the biggest things that shifted for me in the very beginning was shifting my fucking language, because I get to separate the prediction from the truth. Because like I said, the brain is going to predict based on the memory, not the fucking reality.
Right. That's deep. Because even for that situation, right? You don't understand that you want to change. You want, I mean, let's keep it 100%, right? The reason why a lot of times you just don't know what to do is because you never had the tools to do it and you don't want to do it. So you rely on that past.
Yes.
Right? You rely on that past and you hold on, and like you said, you anchor it all, and then you seek validation when the same shit happens again. It's like, okay, that's just how it is. Now, when you start putting in the work, right? When you start putting in the work, then it's a whole different ball game, because that's when it all changes. Because then you want to reframe, you want to phrase, you want to change your language, you want to change your behaviors, but you have to have a substance, a block that you hold on to.
Yes, and what I mean, and I know a lot of people are going to wonder, what do you mean by changing your language? Like I get to catch the way that I'm speaking to myself in my head, right? Like when I think about a relationship, like
Yes.
if a man leaving, like this always happens, or I know how this will end. That's a prediction. It's not
And
a
that's
fact.
bad.
It's not the truth.
Yeah.
And so I allow the thought to come in my head. That's fine. But I just get to relabel it. And that is just knowing that, okay, this is just a thought. It doesn't mean anything. And it's going to allow me to learn the difference between fear and intuition.
Right. Because like it goes to show, right? People want to change, they might not have the tools. People want something different, they don't want their direction. People want a path, but they don't know how to reframe, rephrase, or look at different things different that can change their lives. Does it take a little work upon themselves and be honest with the identity and let go of the past? You have to be able to let go of that past, but you also have to understand your past and dig deep and where it all started. Because if you don't know where it all started, you kind of go dig back and change. Because when you sit in when you sit in a cell, and even when you sit in a cell, when you sit in prison, you have a lot of time to think. Like when I do with the kids, you start counting dots on the top of the bunk, on the walls, just to keep your sanity, right? Now you can relive it, you can make different choices, but still you don't have the tools. You got to go dive deep to where it all started. Was it a divorce? Was it a trauma? Was it something you've seen? Was it something that you thought was there, but even that was fake because it was all perception, right? Now, is the perception real? Sometimes to some people it is, right? But how do you change that to let go of the past mistake to move forward? You have to reframe, rephrase, and change all that thinking. And it goes the opposite, the straight up way too in today's society, because your small journey that you had, you must have to learn. Like you said, it's a learning process. You're either gonna egg it on, do something, or you learn from it,
100%.
regardless. 100%. There's no bad in situation. There's nothing bad that comes out of it. If you learn from it and you found something else about yourself and you did some research and identity, then it's all worth it for the next person, for you, for the person in the mirror. Ooh, did I just go on a tangent there?
Dude, that was like, whew, that was good shit. That was
But
really
now
good.
it makes so much more sense now, because like I said, this is why I was telling Andrew, like, man, I I got I haven't seen Carrie in like 3 weeks. I know something was up, but holidays, things up, going, everything. Now, whatever state you might be in, guys, right? You already think you had your worst scenario. How do you move forward from that?
From your worst case scenario, you know, it really is about exactly what you were saying, is recognizing that old belief.
Correct.
And I love that you just busted out a freaking PDF. Like, that was awesome, because my brain will always stay loyal to the past, and we already know that.
Mhm.
But it's my responsibility to create a new relationship for my brain to be loyal to. So that relationship is with me. And when I become the safest place for me, then love doesn't feel dangerous. It just feels like, oh, it's possible for me, right? It doesn't feel like painful or like negative in any way.
Oh yeah. Because,
If
but then I mean that goes to show that, you know what I mean. Sometimes, even though you might have all the tools, you might have all the answers, it still gets scary at times,
oh yeah,
right? Now, the past is something that you're used to, so you know what's coming, and
yeah,
that's
and
the
it
whole
worked. Do
difference.
you know what I mean?
It
Like
works.
that process worked for a long time,
Absolutely.
and it really is just big. Like, okay, like, is this serving me? And I know this sounds so simple, but it's like, okay, is this serving me anymore? And I get to be, conscious of my body, because it's not just the thinking. It's like my brain will activate my body to respond in a particular way. And so when
Mhm.
I feel this fear, um, and I'll use an example of something just random, like let's say I'm going to be on stage speaking and I feel a fear in my body, right?
Mhm.
Now, my body interprets, when I am afraid, my body interprets everything as though, oh my God, we're going to die, right? Like, that has been my experience. I get to reinterpret that to excitement, right? My brain just gets to associate that with something different. So, oh my God, if I'm going to go speak on stage, how exciting is that? That shifts that energy in my body, rather
Yeah.
than me thinking, holy shit, I'm going to get up here and I'm going to die. And I think of all the worst case scenarios that are going to happen. Like, this pattern it like goes across all areas of our lives, not just relationships, how we show up, period.
I mean, it's how you show up, period, and how you look at it. How you look at it different. I'll give you a perfect example of this. Right? Watch this. I'll give you a I'll give you, this is how cool this can be, because this is what we're going to be doing for the next for 2026. Like, she just gave me an idea, right? So, like, we're going to do this, right? So give me an event, Carrie. Give me an event, a situation
What
that
what
one
do
of
you
your clients might have, or something like that, right? Um, being single, right?
Okay, being single.
Right, being single, right? That's the event that's going to happen. The belief of their old belief, right, might be something like, what that person might be feeling.
I'm going to be this way forever. I'm going to be single forever. I hear that a lot. I'm just going to be single forever. Love is not available for me.
Forever. Perfect, right? Now, the emotional outcome of that, the feelings, the actions, what are you feeling, right?
Anxiety.
Anxiety.
Like my chest is tight. Let's get more specific.
Yes.
Like
Here. Chest is tight.
Yes.
Perfect.
My chest is tight. I can hardly swallow.
Yeah, okay.
I feel tension in my jaw.
Ooh, tension. Okay. Now, perfect.
Okay.
You see all this down here, right here? This is all your past behavior. Your past behavior, your old things, whatever you got. Now, how we're going to rephrase this whole situation, this is something me and Carrie, guys, this is something me and Carrie are going to teach going through 2026 by working with us, right? Now, what are some of the connected approach that you're going to be connected by single that you're going to challenge with your attitudes or your values, right? So you want to change the perception, right? Now over here, I have my things that I use, but what are some of your attributes, your values that you hold on to? And we're going to challenge that. What is something your core values?
So now I want to be clear. Are you asking about like what I'm currently believing about being single?
Okay, this is the whole situation.
That's the old situation in the past. Now we're going into
reframe it, but you also have to have some sort of values that you believe in. We're going to use that to challenge your behaviors to block that bad attitude. Right? So what is a core value do you believe in? You believe in love, honesty, you need certain things, right?
Integrity, honesty.
Perfect. So integrity, what else?
Honesty, loyalty, love.
Loyalty. Okay, perfect. We'll just use that as an example.
Okay.
Now, if you're single and you're looking for integrity in yourself, your connected approach would be, you know, if you're being objective and open-minded, is I'll find somebody, or someone will choose me.
Or how about I'm a good fucking catch?
Yeah, good catch. Perfect, right? Okay. The whole thing is, see this behavior down here? That's going to change.
Yes. Oh, this is so good.
If you change this, I'm a good catch, to using one of your attitudes, not the ones I created, with being honest with yourself, right? Yep. It goes right. What's the desired outcome of your behavior?
That I'll be in relationship, but I'll be in relationship with loving me.
Yes. Relationship. Loving me. And what will your behavior say?
What will my behavior say?
I mean, what would be?
Oh my God, what will I feel in my body?
Yes.
I will feel centered, grounded, calm.
Centered.
Yeah.
Calm.
Grounded.
Now, look at this, right? Same situation, same perception, but look the difference.
100%.
Right? So now, with block number 5, what happens to you moving forward? Your actions.
Yes. I was going to say my actions will be different because I'm neutral. I'm now responding. I'm responding
right.
instead of reacting.
Right. No reaction.
Yeah. There's no emotional charge.
No charge.
No self beat up.
No beat up.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about this sheet?
Dude, that's amazing. You made that? That's like great. I love that.
Right? So now I use this in business. I've used this in sales. I've used this in my coaching. I've used this in so many different things that each one has. I've changed it a lot. I've changed it a lot of different ways, right? But when you look at how you can change your perception, because you change your beliefs, you change your behavior, you change your beliefs, you change your thinking, you change your behavior, you change your path, you change your dream.
Boom.
Because you change your beliefs, you change your emotions, you change your behaviors, you change your path, you change your dreams. It goes in 5 steps and starts with that thing right there. right? Because a lot of the times you haven't figured it out. And I get it because it took me a while to figure that out, right? And it's not perfect, but if you can reframe, if you could put on a set of AI glasses and that could do that for you fast, that's how much I've trained so that I can do it. But do I lose control sometimes? Of course, I have anger issues.
Well, I mean,
But
I think
I'm
that's just the
normal.
human part of us, right?
Correct. But then that's best part of it. But you look at it, you went from being this situation over here on the left to a block number 5 where you're gonna feel better about yourself. And
Mhm,
that's all that changed.
mhm. Oh man, that was great. I love that. Thank you for sharing that with me.
I mean, this is what I mean, because going on to 2026, I can use it for business, I can use it for coaching, I can use it for sales. And this is where 2026, I mean, we're gonna make super offers for you to get help between both of us, Doc, and everything else. As you can see, everything has upgraded on my production level.
Yes. Oh my God. A lot happens in 3 weeks.
Oh, but it's like I told you, there's a lot. But guys, how'd you like this one so far? We started out slow, we came out banging, but in a scenario with what's going on, right? Because the topic was you're not single, you're just afraid of being alone.
Mhm.
But to close it off with that, that makes it a whole lot better for what's possible.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think about that one? That was kind of deep, huh?
Dude, like that was just amazing. Wow.
I have stuff.
That
Nobody
was
knows.
great. I love the document that you had. Like that was like perfect.
And this is what, like I said, do you want to close it out?
Sure, sure. Going
Unless
back to
you want to talk about something else. And we were live streaming on all
oh
three
my
platforms.
God. I mean, just going back to what we were saying is like being in a long-term relationship with my fear of being alone. Um, every person that I choose will simply reflect the places that I'm still abandoning myself. And if I look at it through that lens, um, I realize that like love is available to me. It's not failing me. It's just exposing where I'm not free yet. And so I get to
Absolutely.
change my choice, which is choosing myself.
Beautiful. Guys, we're back. 2026. We're back online. We're back as of everybody. Hope everybody had a wonderful year. It's only gonna get better. Guys, we're offering so many different things. Please reach out. It's all fine details. Let me get with Carrie, see what we're gonna do. And we just want to, by the first quarter, you should be at a different level. Guys, this is Gordon Watt from Boundaries and Brotherhood. We'll see you next week.